The fast Autobahn was made popular by Rafik, who has perfected the technique at high speeds. It builds on the previous 6-note version, moving forward through the sample using travelling boomerangs as before, but this time we repeat the first 3 sounds to make 9 sounds in total. In its essence, it's still just a 2-click combo, which sounds like this. Although this is not a technique I have yet mastered at high tempos, I can show you an approach to learning it which you can use with deliberate practice to reach the desired speed. I will break it down into small sections which you can practice individually before we put it all together. Finally, I'll show you how to work on increasing your speed so you can master it like Rafik. Make sure you are comfortable with the 6-sound Autobahn, which will give you a solid foundation on which to progress. Let's break the technique down. This Autobahn can feel slightly awkward to start with because it is an asymmetrical or uneven scratch. We move forward through the sample in steps, then the record has to move back to the starting point in one large single movement. We will break it down into small parts to make it easier to learn. Start at the beginning of your sample with the fader closed. To create the 9 sounds, we perform the first 3 sounds of the A6 Autobahn, or half a boomerang. Then repeat those first 3 sounds again. Finally, end with the second half of the A6 Autobahn. We can break it down even more slowly, which means a forward slice, and a forward dice, another forward slice, and a forward dice, and finally a forward slice, and a reverse dice. So let's see that again. Forward slice, forward dice, forward slice, forward dice, forward slice, and a reverse dice. Once you can do these individual 6 steps, so that's the slices and dices, it's time to start linking the sounds together more smoothly. Do this by grouping the sounds into 3 sets of 3. The first 3 sounds of the A6 Autobahn. Repeat those first 3 sounds again. Then the second half of the A6 Autobahn. Make 3 sounds at a time, pausing after each set. Finally, join those 3 parts together, removing the pause so it creates a continuous and smooth pattern. Hopefully at this point you can see that the pattern is really just an extension of the A6 Autobahn, adding those 3 extra sounds in the middle. Start slow and make sure you are creating clean sounds before you move on to trying it with a beat. The twiddle technique can help you reach faster speeds. Let me show you where to place them. Push the fader open with your thumb and make the first forward slice movement. As you bring the record back, use your middle finger to cut the sound off. As you open the fader again, push the record forward for the dice and use your index finger to cut the sound off. And that's the first twiddle complete. Next, we repeat that once more. Push the fader open with your thumb and make the first forward slice movement. As you bring the record back, use your middle finger to cut the sound off. As you open the fader again, push the record forward for the dice and use your index finger to cut the sound off. And that's the second twiddle complete. Next, push the fader open with your thumb, then make the third forward slice movement. As you bring the record back, use your middle finger to cut the sound off. As you open the fader again, bring the record back for the reverse dice and use your index finger to cut the sound off. So let's see that again slowly. Practice it slowly and build up your speed. As with the A6 Autobahn, you can get really different and varying sounds depending on if you keep your record hand in contact with the vinyl at all times or if you take it off. Experiment again and find your own preference. Once you have the basic Autobahn technique down, you can move on to putting it to a beat. We will use the same triplet timing that we covered in the A6 Autobahn lesson. If you need a refresher, go back and watch that now. The only difference is that we now have 3 extra sounds. We keep the timing the same and just carry the extra 3 sounds forward in a cross-rhythm timing. Instead of the 6 sounds over 1 beat that we use in the A6 version, we add the additional 3 sounds on the end to create 9 sounds over 1.5 beats, which is made up of 3 eighth notes. We make 3 sounds per eighth note. You will see an animated notation diagram as I demonstrate this timing, so the concept is easier to understand. Also, to make this easier to remember, you can use the words pineapple, elephant, triangle to count each set of triplets. This timing can feel very different to most of the other scratches we have covered, mainly because it does not fit evenly into a standard 4/4 beat, plus it is the most amount of sounds we have used so far in a single pattern. With the 6 sound pattern, you can easily use a triplet timing over 1 beat. With 9 sounds, you have to extend it forward over another half beat in a cross-rhythm timing. To make it fit evenly over beats, we create 2 autobahns over 3 beats. To make it fit evenly into bars, so 1 bar is 4 beats, you need to do 8 autobahns over 3 bars. If this theory is a little overwhelming, don't worry. Just have a go at copying what I do, as it will become easier when you start trying it out over a beat. Let's see the triplet pattern in action. Start off performing the pattern with a pause at the end to make it fit evenly over 2 beats. Next, remove the pause and keep the triplet pattern going in a continuous cross-rhythm timing. Once you have the hang of this pattern at this slower speed, I recommend starting to increase the speed of the beat slowly. It's worth taking some time to think about what we are trying to achieve and how we can go about this using a simple step-by-step progression. Rafiq performs this pattern by creating 3 sounds every 8th note on a 135 BPM beat. We can get exactly the same effect by using a beat that is half the speed, so 67.5 BPM, but performing the pattern at the same speed. All that is happening is the same 3 sounds are then created every 16th note in what we call double time. The way I recommend that you work up to Rafiq's double time speed is by starting with the triplet timing I have showed you over the 62.5 BPM beat, then gradually increasing the beat tempo slowly. If you increase by 1 or 2 BPMs per day and practice deliberately, it will take you only a month or so to get it down really well. I've included a chart of BPMs that you can work with to build up your speed. If you know what your current maximum speed is, it makes it that much easier to have a plan to jump up to the next speed and make real progress. Start off on the 62.5 beat, then increase the speed of the beat in multiples of around 2.5 or 5, from around 65 all the way up to 135. Once you can do triplet autobahns at 135 BPM, you have reached double time over a 67.5 beat, and you should probably have a little celebration. Put the 62.5 beat on and carry on performing the technique at double time and work your way up again to around 70 BPM and beyond. Make sure you take breaks and rest those hands. Go as slow as you need to create clean sounds. Here are some demos of the technique over some faster beats so you can hear what it sounds like. Now you have seen how to perform the fast Autobahn, let's practice together in a Q&A. I'll perform them for 4 bars, then leave a gap for you to reply for 4 bars. Note that the pattern doesn't fit evenly into 4 bars, so I may end with a release or pause at the end of the fourth bar. That wraps up the 9-sound or fast Autobahn. Keep practicing deliberately and you will reach the desired speed. I'll let you know when I do. In the next video I will show you an alternate 8-sound version which fits into a standard 4/4 beat more easily, but which features slightly different record movements to the other two Autobahn scratches in this series. Have fun with it and get your freak on. Happy scratching!